If you're someone out there suffering with cancer, maybe you had cancer in the past, maybe you had side effects from some of the interventions that you've tried for cancer, we have some things that we're going to talk to you about, probably you've never heard of. And so I think you're going to I think you're going to love what we have in this podcast. So stay tuned and hope you enjoy.
Hi, everyone. This is Cameron. I am here with Dr. Chris Cormier, and today we are going to be talking about cancer support. Hello, Dr. Chris Cormier.
Hey, Cameron.
In simple terms, how do people get cancer?
Okay, so we have 30 trillion cells in our bodies, and that's a crazy number to think about. In today's day and age, I always talk about, okay, so nobody's born with a perfect set of cells. Everybody on the planet has genetic defects, some more than others. And so each cell has this self-healing capacity. It's just God-given, and it basically is formed to heal itself from just about anything. It's formed with a shield around it. It protects the cell, right? And so you can imagine cells that are not as healthy, they're more vulnerable, and they can get more toxins in them. They can get more pathogens in them, microbes. So there's so much out in today's world. You want to think of today's world, okay, so as soon as somebody's born in today's world, their set of cells is not perfect. And then they start dealing with all these physical stresses, emotional stresses, and environmental stresses. And what's crazy is any one of those stresses at any given time can knock off the health in groups of cells throughout your body. And if your body doesn't reset those cells get worse and worse and worse potentially over time. They get more filled with toxins, they get more microbes. And you can imagine the worse a cell gets, then it turns into cancer and those types of things.
Why can two people live very similar lives, but only one of them may get cancer?
Okay, so that is a great question. You want to think it goes back to exactly what we just talked about. If one of them has a higher level of health in the majority of their cells, they're less likely to get any kind of crazy condition like this. But if the other one has a life where their cells are not healthy and toxic, then those cells could be very prone to having something like this happen.
Why do some cancers respond well to certain treatments while others are more hard to manage?
So basically, you want to think of it goes down to kind of what's in those cancerous cells and how did they form. There's so many technicalities. I'm not a cancer doctor, just to clarify, but we focus on overall self-healing, and we try to find areas of cells in people as much as we possibly can where cells are not healthy, and we try to get those cells as healthy as possible. But exactly what you said, it just depends on what's in those cells, and what caused it to happen in the first place, and that could be very challenging, with this condition.
What is the hardest part of hearing the words, "You have cancer"?
Yeah, so I can't even imagine what people go through when they hear it, because if you think of it, I mean, this particular diagnosis is kind of like you feel like death.
Yeah.
I think when you get it, right, you feel like you're probably done, and don't know what else could be done to be able to help. So I'm assuming that's what most people, that's as we're seeing patients coming to see us, that's what we're seeing is they're sometimes very desperate, or they could also be optimistic and following conventional, but yet as they go do conventional, sometimes their health declines. So there's so many different paths, but it's massive paranoia that happens when they do get the diagnosis most of the time.
Why can cancer treatment drain people mentally and physically?
Yeah, so you want to think of like the traditional routes, chemo and radiation. I'm not saying don't do those. I'm just saying those are the radiation part kills cells, and a lot of times it can kill the good cells and the bad cells. And the same thing with the chemotherapy. It's kind of like a poisonous thing that they're given to you. But certainly sometimes those cells are so nasty that they're targeting, they got to do something to try to kill them. So that's from their side, that's kind of where they are. And of course, if you're not used to taking, some type of chemo drug, you can have side effects to taking it. Getting radiation and killing off a lot of cells can have side effects as well.
In your clinic, the Nerve Health Institute, have you worked with cancer support patients?
So basically what we try to do here, again, we're not a cancer clinic. We don't go around telling people we treat cancer, but what we try to do is help people. Let's say they do have cancer. Let's say they've been through cancer. Let's say they're currently, going through it. We try to get as many of their cells to be restored as possible so that they have the best chance to self-heal and get their body to heal itself as much as possible. Also, in certain cases, they've done the chemo, they've done the radiation. Oftentimes they get neuropathy, they get different things that they didn't have, numbness and tingling and pain in their extremities or wherever they're getting it. So we have the ability to turn those nerves back on and try to get some of those signals back to those cells, so that the secondary damage that occurred to try to kill something else, we try to manage those for people as well.
When cancer patients come into your clinic, what are they usually struggling with the most?
It's a lot with this condition,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
sometimes lost hope, sometimes side effects like we talked about, neuropathy from the chemo, the radiation, where they can't feel something that they could feel before. Sometimes they're just worried that it's going to come back. Sometimes they are in the condition and it's not going away with conventional. So there's so many different routes with this. But we try to have as cumulative of an approach as we can to overall cellular health throughout the body. The ones that are really bad, a lot of times we do, or even some of the ones that are not that bad, we do eBOO therapy as well, where we actually take the blood out, filter it, 60% of all the different toxins and microplastics and everything that's trashy in your blood that shouldn't be there. And then we actually re-oxygenate and ozonate it and put it back in the other arm. So it looks like the nasty, you can watch the nasty stuff coming out and you can watch the beautiful blood coming back in. So that's a great route to overall just detoxify the body and allow those cells in the body to heal. So in addition to all the different other modalities we have, to be able to center on oxygen, water, and light, because remember, those are the top 3 ingredients in cells.
What kind of improvements have you seen over these patients through your work?
Yeah, many times they will have symptoms, let's say in their legs or their arms or wherever the areas or secondary problems, and those can improve. We've seen that happen plenty of times, and also sometimes in general, their health is so bad by the time they come to see us because nobody's really ever managed their cells from a holistic perspective. And sometimes they've just gone the supplement route, which can have some benefits, and sometimes they've gone conventional, and sometimes they've done both. But a lot of times they're missing this middle ground we have of 30 trillion cells in every human being, oxygen being the number 1 ingredient, water being number 2, light, frequency, grounding. Those are basic ingredients in cells that we try to manage and bring those back up and get, again, that self-healing capacity. A cell in your body the self-healing gets so low, that's when it gets vulnerable, gets toxic, and it turns over time into these crazy conditions like cancer. So we try to keep the cells as high as possible, so that our body can help with these sort of conditions.
How does improving oxygen help the body cope better with cancer treatments?
Yeah, so oxygen, remember, again, I'm going to clarify, we don't go around telling oxygen is a treatment for cancer. So that's not what we do. But what we do is give you an education on what your cells are. So 65% of every single one of your trillions of cells should be oxygen. And unfortunately, like we talked about, it's nobody breathes perfectly. And basically we don't know what we're breathing anymore. So over time, groups of cells throughout our body lose proper oxygenation and they get sick. And so oxygen is so good for so many different things. The number 1 thing oxygen does in our bodies is detoxifies things. So when a cell's low in oxygen, of course it can get more toxic. Of course it can get microbes and all the different things that can come into it.
Why is proper hydration so critical for healing and the recovery at a cellular level?
Yeah, so basically we talked about water being number 2
Mm-hmm.
ingredient. We want everybody to be about 60% water. And the problem with water is most people either they don't drink enough water or they're drinking the wrong type of water. So we have ways of helping with that because the better hydrated you are with the better, because 60% of you use water, the higher quality of the water in your body, the healthier you are.
Why does healthy natural light exposure influence the nervous system and energy levels?
Yeah, so basically we talk about light energy all the time. It's one of my favorite topics. This thing right here is your power company, your brain. Everybody has one. This thing is wired to all these trillions of cells. You can imagine it's trillions of nerves.
Yes.
Like it's a lot of nerves. And so it's like one power company here for trillions of houses, which is crazy to think about. And we go through life, right? And we have, nobody starts with a perfect set of houses. Everybody, when they're born, there's already some disconnects to cells because of the genetic defects. And then as you start going through life, you got all these different stresses. You can align it to like a power company with a hurricane or a tornado or a small thunderstorm or a windstorm or a fire. And all these things happen in our lives, right? We got emotional stresses and physical stresses and environmental stresses. And any one of those stresses at any given time causes power outages throughout your body. The more of those power outages you have, the more cells degenerate. And so the light energy is so important. I always talk about fiber optics. This thing right here is like a fiber optic center, and it's connected to all, it should be connected to all these cells. Unfortunately, when it starts to lose enough power, then we have issues. And part of this problem is people don't get enough sunlight. They never have their nervous system properly, thoroughly checked like we do. And it's like this recipe for disaster.
Why do some patients they may experience fewer side effects when their body feels safer and balanced? Why is that?
So in a person that's managing their stress better, they're less likely to have a lot of cells that get unhealthy. Which means a person that's trying to eat as good as proper or clean as they can. A person that's trying to manage all the different environmental things around us we talk about, and a person that's getting adequate sunlight, breathing properly, staying properly hydrated. All these things matter, and when you're not doing one or two of these things, then it starts to alter the way you feel.
Can you combine medical cancer treatments with supportive therapies and still get good results?
Yes. So again, as I mentioned before, we're not a cancer clinic. If you're coming to see us and you're on a regimen of certain drugs or whatever, I can't ever get involved and tell you not to take those drugs. That's not my position at all. Our position is to try to help you with your body's self-healing capacity. And unfortunately, sometimes some of the things they're taking can actually kill the cancer cells, but then it kills other cells around it as well. So we try our best to make sure in those cases that we're trying to help them as much as possible without stepping on the toes of the oncologist, the person that's out there. That's not our position at all. It's literally just to offer a higher level of care versus just going to that conventional route. Cells are complicated and they need to be addressed properly.
Have you seen it? Have you seen red light therapies help with radiation burns, skin irritation, or slow healing?
Yeah, so red light therapy's been around for a long time. Near infrared, the sun is 50% near infrared light. People don't realize this, but people just don't get enough light. To be honest with you, it's a world where people stay 93% indoors, and we should be getting more light. So when you're not getting light outdoors, we have devices that you can use to rejuvenate the health in your cells. I guess a good example would be if you see this lit up person. It's like a younger person that's bright. You can see in them, man, they're just like lit up, right? Everything's good. But then compare it to somebody maybe in a nursing home in a bed, and you can see their light is almost off. So cells really, really thrive when they're lit with energy. And so we really love all the different devices and methods we have for restoring light energy in the body.
For patients with this specific condition, how many of them feel more energized and clearer after doing red light therapies?
Yeah, so it's not just red light therapy with this. As I'll point out, we always talk about oxygen, water, light, frequency, grounding, nutrients. There's so much into this, but certainly when you have a debilitated condition like cancer, you got to do all the right moves, and you got to do as much as you possibly can to spark up your body's health. And certainly, if you're on conventional things that are dragging you down, we want to help those. We want to help your body's natural ability to heal itself and just bring that self healing capacity back.
You talk about grounding as well, grounding devices. You have some in your clinic.
Yes.
What improvements do patients typically experience?
So grounding, remember, we should all be touching planet Earth with our feet, but unfortunately, people are not, and we should be doing it regularly. There's a magnetic charge off of planet Earth measuring about 1 Gauss, and we should be getting that charge to our cells. It helps to do all kinds of things in our bodies, and it's just how God designed us. And unfortunately, we've gotten away from doing that. So the device we have here has 10,000 Gauss. It's invented by a medical doctor buddy of mine. And so we've been using it for many years. Our patients absolutely love it. There's so many different benefits. They feel, just like it says, more grounded, right? The cells can do so many more things than they could before when you provide the proper grounding to them.
You have some oxygen modalities in your clinic as well. Could you name a few of those?
Sure, we have hyperbaric oxygen therapy. We have hyperbaric oxygen is a chamber you get in. It pressurizes and pushes oxygen into all your tissues, softens the blood-brain barrier. Amazing therapy for oxygen in the brain. And then we also have Bimini, which is a device you put your legs and feet in water, and there's a device that produces nanobubbles of oxygen 2,500 times smaller than the pores of your skin. Then we also have LiVO2, which is a therapy where you breathe 93% oxygen roughly in a sealed mask while you exercise. And it could be light exercise, doesn't have to be heavy. But then we're switch it back to 14% oxygen. And what that does is it creates a little starving for your cells. And basically it causes something called vasodilation where the cells, where the blood vessels open up to get oxygen. So we kind of go back and forth with that therapy. It's really good. We also do exercise with oxygen therapy. So we have a multitude of oxygen therapies in addition to our eBOO, right? Because when you take the blood out, filter it from 60% of all the toxins and stuff in the blood, and then re-oxygenate and ozonate the blood, you're getting that oxygen effect there as well.
Amazing. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the hyperbaric chambers that you were talking about. From a practical standpoint, how has hyperbaric oxygen helped cancer patients recover faster?
Again, we're not a cancer clinic. I don't want you to assume that hyperbaric oxygen treats cancer. But what it does do is restore the number one ingredient to your cells. So if you got a bunch of your cells throughout your body that are 20% oxygenated, there's no test for that right now. My lifetime, I hope we're able to invent a device you'll stand on and it'll tell you exactly what percentage the cells are oxygenated throughout your body. That would be cool.
Yes.
For right now, we just know people are low in oxygen. So restoring oxygen to cells makes people feel tremendously better. So that's the one thing we're trying to do is with this particular condition, you got to keep your self-healing as high as possible. And certainly when you're helping to restore the top ingredient, your body has a much better chance.
Have you seen hyperbaric chambers improve healing after radiation or surgery?
Certainly. Yeah, there's plenty. In fact, when I did my training for hyperbaric oxygen probably 8 or 10 years ago, I was in a group in Texas, and literally I was the only preventative guy there. Almost all of them were surgeons and dentists.
Wow.
And they were doing all their surgeries. They would do hyperbaric before and hyperbaric after, and they had tons of pictures. It was really cool. So again, it's just replenishing the number one ingredient back into your cells to try to accelerate the body's ability to heal itself.
So for clarification for our viewers, you do have the Nerve Health Institute, which is an in-person clinic where patients can come to see you, but you also have an at-home platform.
Yes.
What is that called?
Yeah, so we have the Nerve Health Institute with all our, major high-level equipment and gadgets and techniques, and not everybody can afford to come here. Not everybody geographically can get here, even though we have people that come from other countries and states and
Wow,
all over.
amazing.
But I wanted to help people 24/7. So our patients coming to see us, I didn't want them just leave. They wanted me to go with them, and I couldn't. So I was like, okay, how can we over time develop methods and techniques and technologies to be able to help them at home? So over the years, we took everything that we were recommending to them, and everything I use personally, me and my family, and our staff, and then we started actually recommending. We started developing something called Body Chargers. So it's a platform for home. It's called Body Chargers by Dr. Chris, and it's a platform for home where people can have this massive change in education to be able to help them with all kinds of resources. Everything is centered on self-healing. Everything is centered. So we call it the Self-Healing Center, and there's so much in there that you can do to change your life for the better. And it's one cell at a time, right?
Right.
So if you think it's going to be overwhelming, it's not. We have it structured to where it's easy to follow regimens. We even have this 28-day cell sparking challenge. And in that 28-day cell sparking challenge, we're literally teaching people to change one thing in their day every day and offering suggestions, and all of it centering on those basic ingredients: oxygen, water, light, frequency, grounding.
Wow, amazing. What results do Body Charger members report most?
So many people will just sometimes they'll do the 28-day cell sparking challenge, and just something will change, and they'll be like, oh my goodness, I have more energy, I feel better, I feel more vibrant. I mean, and just by changing one thing, it's so amazing. I guess it's almost like, being a mechanic and you're trying to fix a car and you can't fix it, and somebody comes in and says, hey, why don't you do this? And you're like, oh, okay, and then they do it and it's done.
Yeah.
That's what we want people to be, is their own mechanic. But we want to. I've done all the rabbit holing, I can promise you. So I've done years, literally in my clinic. We got millions of dollars we spent. We got, I don't even know how many dollars we've spent over the years trying to find the best technologies to help people at home and in our clinic. But you're getting the best of all worlds, literally, because we've been able to help thousands of people through the process. And now we have what I consider to be the best resources here in my clinic to be able to help people, but also the best resources to help people to improve their self-healing at home through Body Chargers.
Does building consistency at home create a faster and deeper result for people if they were to come in clinic?
100%. And that's why we always recommend that people become a Body Chargers member. We try to make it affordable for everybody. Let's say you can't afford, a membership is $42 a month or $399 for the year. If you can't afford anything more than that, we have all these free things in the 28-day cell sparking challenge that you can do to be able to change your life. And it's just the tiniest of suggestions. You'd be amazed. And then we also have upgrades, like where they can buy all these different types of products that we recommend that chances are you probably haven't heard of what we have in there, but it's all extremely high tech, and it's stuff that we've been using for many years.
Is the key to results finding the right combination of medical care, OWL foundations, and nervous system support?
Yeah, yes. So again, I can't tell people enough. Whoever you're seeing, the doctor that you're seeing, you better make sure whoever it is knows what they're doing, right? And they need to think outside of the box, because if they just stick in the conventional model, or even, like, I'm a chiropractor, so they stick just in the conventional chiropractic model, they're just going to be limited by things. Maybe it's just a naturopath, just limited by taking a number of supplements. I think over the years, I've been able to kind of blend everything together and make sure that we're centering on the top ingredients. You mentioned OWL, which is oxygen, water, light. It's a theory that I've come up with for many years. But those top basic ingredients: oxygen, water, light, frequency, magnetism, nutrients, like customized nutrients. We have all of that here at the Nerve Health Institute, and we have all those things built in for home with Body Chargers by Dr. Chris. Yeah.
What gives you the confidence that your approach is truly what helps people get better?
It's science, because we're explaining the different ingredients that the body's made of, and literally helping to replenish those ingredients that have been depleted, and it just is what it is. So plus we have, obviously I can talk about it in that language, but we have so many results of patients over the years. I mean, I have walls of testimonials. We have honestly YouTube page full of testimonial videos. We also started this Miraculous. It's called Miraculous, the podcast, where I started interviewing some of my patients with just amazing results that sometimes is unbelievable to people. And so people would see maybe a YouTube video, somebody that had a condition that doesn't anymore, and it's like, oh, that's not believable. So I'm like, okay, we'll actually sit the person down and actually do a full podcast where they can tell their whole story. So that's Miraculous is really cool. Remember, those miracles are God-made miracles.
Yes.
It's just us turning the self-healing back on in the human body and letting the body do what it's designed to do.
If someone listening feels scared and exhausted right now, what simple action can they take today to start giving their 30 trillion cells a better chance?
I would say the first step would be just become a Body Chargers member. It's going to teach you things that chances are you've never heard before, in a format you've never heard before. Regardless of your financial situation, it's going to offer you solutions. And the whole mission we have with that platform, we literally want to help millions of people, because the big pharmaceutical companies, I'm not going to be negative on all big pharma, but they make their money based off of how many drugs they sell. And more drugs they sell, the more money they make. But they don't want you to know anything about your body's ability to heal itself. They don't want you to know self-healing. They don't want you to think your body heals itself, but it does. And so we want to bring that back. We want to bring that faith back into people and make them understand their body has the full ability to heal itself.
Oh, that is amazing. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Cormier. That does conclude our talk today on cancer support.
Thank you. Okay, real quick, if you're out there and you're somebody who's had cancer, suffering with cancer, side effects and from treatments, or maybe you have a family member, friend, coworker, relative that has this condition, and they're looking for alternatives to be able to help. Remember, we're not a cancer clinic here, but we offer solutions for your cells in your body. So we want your overall self-healing in your body to be raised up so that you feel better. We have online resources that you can try. Also, we have down below, you'll see links you can click on. You can also leave any questions you have in the comments. But the online resource for help would be Body Chargers. It's Body Chargers by Dr. Chris, and it's a platform that I created for all these different devices, methods, nutrients, exercises to be able to help at home with overall self-healing in your body, which is your body's ability to heal itself. If you want to get, kick it up a notch, you come to our clinic, the Nerve Health Institute here in Lafayette, Louisiana. And we have all these high-level resources filled with oxygen, water, light, frequency, grounding, all these different things to help your cells and to help your overall health raise up so that you can get your body to fight off these types of conditions. So I hope this helps, and we look forward to seeing you on the next podcast.